Democrats back Hakeem Jeffries. And the debacle to fund the government only worsened his prospects as Johnson once again relied overwhelmingly on, you guessed it, Democrats to pass a short-term spending bill. Some Republicans say that Elon Musk-led fiasco is straining their confidence in Johnson's leadership. As the Washington Post puts it, quote, this cycle of political faceplants threatens to derail President-elect Trump's agenda as well as Johnson's hold on power. Joining us now is Msnbc political analyst and former Republican congressman from Florida, David Jolly. David Jolly.
Welcome,
How are
David.
you this morning?
David Jolly just saw this debacle of me trying to get this boot on.
Right.
I was like, ooh, I lost some weight, but not in the calves, honey. The boots was tight. Just like Mike Johnson's prospects, real tight.
Real tight. They're real tight. I think you got those boots on a lot easier than he's going to get his chairmanship back on.
If America could see, I don't know about that.
Merry Christmas, everybody. That's how we do it. So I want to start with Byron Donalds because Byron Donalds is out here threatening people. He's going to hold people accountable for something. Let's take a listen.
Now, in Washington, we have one simple job that we got to do. And we got to deliver the agenda that you worked hard for, that you gave up your time for. And I'm going to tell you this, we're going to accomplish that agenda in Washington, D.C. And if any of my colleagues decide to get in the way, you will hear it directly from me, and they will be held accountable.
What the hell he going to do?
I was just about to ask.
I mean, exactly. What the hell are you going to do? You don't represent the 720,000 people who live in the Maryland 5th Congressional District. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, this sort of, banal kind of threats and crazy talk. The reality of it is you negotiated a bill to put the nation's fiscal house in order, a budget, right? And along comes Elon Musk, who says, oh, no, we're not doing that. I guess Byron gets all on board with it. And then what do? They wind up with the exact same bill. After all the drama, all the noise, all the threats, members of Congress do their jobs because they represent people other than those who live in Byron Donalds' districts. I'm curious what he's going to do.
Yeah, so look, Byron Donalds is a member looking for his place in the world, and he hasn't found it. He's run for speaker a couple times. He maybe runs for governor. He doesn't know, and he hasn't landed anything in the Trump orbit. So when you can't find your place in politics, you get angry about it, and that's what you see. He's not going to do anything about it. I think what's fascinating about this, as you said, I think in the opener, what does Mike Johnson do? Because look, I've worked within the appropriations world one way or another since 1994. I've been through every one of these dynamics. I truly don't know how Mike Johnson gets out of this. I mean, I thought on Friday, perhaps he has to shut down the government, Mike Johnson does, so that he can get reelected on January 3rd and then pass the same package with Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, here's the problem. If you look back at the last 2 years, nobody could lead the Republican caucus. That's how Mike Johnson ended up there. It was Hakeem Jeffries who led the governing coalition. We had a government shutdown brink once before. Democrats provided the votes. A debt ceiling increase. Democrats provided the vote. Funding for Ukraine. Democrats provided the votes. Nothing's changed. The math hasn't changed. And so what I think we have to be looking for between now and January 3rd is, do the folks like Tom Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and others say they're not voting for Johnson? Because if so, the way the rules work for the speakership is Speaker Johnson has been renominated by his caucus. That's just a 50+1 vote behind closed doors. But you've got to go to the floor and get to 218 or whatever the numbers will be when the House convenes. But you have to get 50+1 of the entire House. If all the Democrats vote for Jeffries and Johnson loses a couple votes on his side, which it appears he will, Johnson isn't speaker. Now, the only thing going for Mike Johnson is nobody else wants the job. Nobody else wants the job.
They got nobody else. Who's they putting in there?
But we saw this during the McCarthy fiasco. They could go for a few weeks without a speakership. They could delay organizing the Congress. They could gavel in, not have a speaker, and we watch it play out.
And there's what all that means, David Jolly, for the Republican Party. There's also what all of that means for the American people, given what they are expected to do, sort of the basic threshold of that job.